Tonight, loved ones are honoring a Holocaust survivor whose story transcends generations. David Walnerman died this morning at the age of 96. When he was a teen, Walnerman was taken to nearly a dozen concentration camps, including Auschwitz. For 5 years, he lived in deplorable conditions, forced labor, typhus, and starvation. But he only started sharing his story of survival with the public a couple of years ago. KCCI's Ophelia Jacobson spoke with Walnerman's son about how he plans to keep his father's legacy alive.
Words,
what am I going to miss most?
Can be hard to find.
Everything.
When you lose a person who means so much to you.
Everything. It's a good man.
And to others. David Walnerman lived his life by 4 words.
Forgive, but don't forget.
And that's always been his mantra. Perhaps that wouldn't allow him to live to 96 if he always kept keeping his baggage, carrying his baggage from the Holocaust.
And he taught others to do the same through the stories he told of his time spent in concentration camps.
My dad is somewhere in the background of these survivors. I don't know which one.
But putting his story into words wasn't always easy. His son Michael convinced him to publicly speak about his experience as a witness and survivor of the Holocaust just a few years ago.
I think just seeing what's happening even in our country, it inspired him to speak more about it.
Iowans were willing to listen. David was well known and honored by many members of the local community.
You know, the Iowans really embraced him. I was always home to him. He felt good. It reminded him of his small town in Poland.
Michael hopes his dad's story will continue to teach future generations about the past. And he plans to keep talking about his dad for as long as he lives.
The numbers are dwindling for Holocaust survivors all over the country and all over the world. I think that if we don't hear these witnesses' stories, then we may be prone to repeat history.
Pictures.
This is a big family that we have now here.
Worth 1,000 words.
This is the biggest retribution I think my dad could have ever imagined.
Serve as memories of the life and family David built in America after his liberation.
He was humble. He loved Iowa. And he loved the people.
But the words he spoke and the message he shared.
His message was so authentic and meaningful and important for Iowans to hear and the rest of the United States to hear.
Will serve as a lifelong reminder to forgive, but don't forget. Michael told me he's received an outpouring of messages and support from local leaders. Services for David will be held tomorrow at 11 a.m. at Dunn's Chapel on Grand Avenue. David's grandson, Rabbi Daniel Walnerman, will lead the service. Laura?
Ophelia, thank you. What an impact. KCCI's Eric Hansen first shared David Walnerman's full story of survival on This Is Iowa last September. You can read more about his life on our KCCI mobile app.